Well, that feels better. Doesn't that feel a whole lot better? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Manuel Pellegrini. Happy birthday to Tans off the forum as well, by the way. And we are all very, very happy because it has finished. Everton 1, West Ham United 3. We got tons and tons to get through. I'm joined today by Mr. B. Mr. B, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
He's happy. We're very, very happy today. I'm very relieved. I'm buzzing. I actually enjoyed watching West Ham play football for the first time this season. Let's be perfectly honest. As I say, we've got an awful lot to get through. So I'm going to fly through everything that happened. Then we're going to get into everything in a little bit more detail, the players, how they performed and everything else. So it started off early on in the game. Everton, I thought, Mr. B, they had what looked like to be 3 fair attacks in the first 2 minutes. I don't know about you, but I was thinking squeaky bum time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Their striker, Czech Tosun, I don't know if that's actually the correct surname for him, because the way he was trying to finish the day, I think it was a very, very similar name, but not Tosun, because he was woeful. I think we were quite lucky. If there'd have been a ruthless striker there, we could have been 1 or 2 down before we, before we struck. So you say they had chances. We rode our luck a bit, but I think we drew a bit of luck because we've had a fair few bits go against us.
And we didn't have to wait long, mate. We only had to wait until 11 minutes. Now, Pedro Obiang, who had been reinstated to the starting lineup, if I was professional, I would have done the starting lineup before now, but you all know what it was. We'll go through it later. Pedro Obiang played a lovely little 1-2 combined with Marko Arnautovic, beautifully squared the ball to Yarmolenko, who was making his first start of the season. Bang! 1-0 West Ham. Good goal, Mr. B.
Superb goal. I mean, other than the fact it was broken up from midfield, it was effectively a superb counter-attacking goal. But Arnautovic, it was a good ball through, but the fact it was a bouncing ball, just the way he controlled it, and it was nice. Hopefully, there's the start of a bit of telepathy going on there between himself and Yarmolenko, because he didn't actually look at him. He just put that ball there to the side. And actually, that was a really good finish, because that was actually a difficult finish. I know he slotted it away nicely, but with Pickford coming out at pace at him, he had to pick his spot. He didn't have time to think, and that was bang, back of the net. Superb goal. Really good.
It was good, mate, and we'll get on to Jordan Pickford in just a moment. But in between that lovely goal, and I did think it was a lovely bit of vision. He used his mind's eye, his third eye, whatever you want to call it, to pick out Yarmolenko. In between that and our second goal, it's not often we speak about one. We've got 3 juicy goals to speak about, but in between those 2 goals, Digny, I think that's his name, at a fullback, they were going at us down the wings, these guys, and I think they targeted Zabaleta. He crossed the ball over, and Tosun, who we've already discussed, got in between Balbuena and Diop, headed. Although it was straight at Fabianski, I still thought Fabianski had a save to make. Could have been 1-1. Very, very easy then. So we move forward to 31 minutes, and the man you just mentioned, Jordan Pickford, sort of did a hurried, weird type clearance, maybe a scuffed pass out, passed it to the Everton player. I don't know who it is, don't care. Basically, he tried to pass it to him. Noble intercepted it. The Everton players fouled Noble, and basically it is then gone to Yarmolenko, who's sort of wide of the box. He did a bit of jiggery pokery, got into the middle, and then unleashed a Curlenmeister past Pickford to make it 2-0 to West Ham. That was a lovely goal. I enjoyed that goal, Mr. B.
Oh, likewise. And the thing I'd say about that, and obviously credit to Yarmolenko for scoring it, but I think you got to give fantastic credit. And I know people knock referees all the time, but you got to give the ref credit there, because a lot of the others would have blown up for a foul on Noble, and he just let him play the advantage. What a great finish! I'm going to say, it's the sort of thing when you see like the YouTube clips of him before we bought him what we're buying, and it was exactly that. Took him onto his left peg and absolutely rifled it in. Again, another superb finish. And this is what you're paying 17 million quid for.
It certainly is, mate. I'm loving that finish. If anybody doesn't know, I'm always on the forum. For when I don't go to the games, I am always on the forum. We've got a match thread and we all talk about it as the game's going on. And I said I was just in love with that goal. I loved the way he finished it. I loved the way he created space for himself. Hopefully better things to come, and I'm quite sure you don't need to be ex-West Ham United employee to predict that Yarmolenko will start our next game. Hopefully I'm not giving anything away there. So after that goal, we had Theo Walcott forced to save. He had a sort of weird shot from just sort of wide of the box, forced to save from Fabianski, and another save again on 36 minutes when Fabianski saved from that geezer, Czech Tosson again. Okay, 43 minutes. Everton made a bold substitution, which I thought, you know what, fair on Silva for doing that. 43 minutes, could have left it half-time, but he was sending a message to him. So he substituted Schneiderlin, who, let's be fair, was getting swamped by the unexpected midfield of Declan Rice, Obiang, and, of course, Mark Noble. And he brought on Bernard, didn't he? Bernard from the West Country. And 45 minutes just before half-time, Mr. B, Sigurdsson out-jumped Balbuena. Now, I think if you take the goal back, Gio always likes to say, show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake. I think Diop maybe was guilty of rushing out, but Balbuena was outmanned, let's say outgunned, and Sigurdsson headed in. I mean, lack of concentration just before half-time. We should have seen it out. We should have gone in at 2-0, and we were thinking the worst, Mr. B. Were you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's over the last 2 seasons, it's kind of become ingrained because we're so used to throwing things away that even at 2-0, I'm thinking, well, we're going to lose this 3-2. And then, bang, there's a worse time to concede. Just like that stroke half time, it changes the team sorts in both camps. You could say with it, Balbuena was maybe at fault, but Sigurdsson's come from deep and he's had a run on him. Balbuena's tried to basically jump from a standing start. Sigurdsson's got a good head, a good goal, but bad for us to concede. But you know, we were still looking fairly dangerous with him attacking us down on the flanks there. And they weren't going to score through the middle with us because we just had too many bodies in there. So that's where it was going to come from. But yeah, just disappointing to concede one at the just before the break there.
Yeah, well, we were all fearing the worst there. So half-time came and went. We came out for the second half, and that expected blitz didn't happen. Although there was a little period when Everton came into the game a bit, but we always managed to stay sharp. Now, we were obviously rushing through everything. I thought we had a counter-attacking edge to us today, for those of you that haven't seen the game. We created a chance. Declan Rice did really well, as he did all game. Anderson set up Obiang, who sort of shanked it over the bar. There was a weak penalty shout against Pedro Obiang, who was just more muscly and stronger than his opposite number. I've written down here in my notes 58 minutes end-to-end stuff, which would probably indicate on the 58th minute it was going very, very end-to-end, and that's how I remember it. It was a good game of football. It was as entertaining as a game of football can be. If you were neutral, you're probably enjoying it at that point. If you're a West Ham fan, as Mr. B alluded to, you're probably worried that we're going to lose 3-2 at that point, but no. No. We were not going to lose 3-2 because we scored another goal. It was a wonderful exchange. I didn't write down, it was around on the 60-minute mark. Wonderful exchange between Obiang and Arnie. It wasn't just a 1-2, it was more like a 3-4, wasn't it? More like a 3-4. It was lovely. And Obiang played him in again in the box, and Arnie side-footed it with his left foot past Jordan Pickford, who's had a very, very bad day. 3-1 at that point, and we were looking good, Mr. B.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, again, well taken goal. Men around him, slid it in. I don't know if the slide or whatever, or he's overstretched his knee to get to the ball because obviously he ran away and celebrated it and then went down and was off thereafter, pretty much. So hopefully that's nothing. It's nothing dramatic, but yeah, to get that 2-goal cushion again. And after that, I thought we actually looked fairly comfortable. I know we've not mentioned it so far, but hopefully he's finally now not only sort of found the balances of the team, but the actual system, that 4-3-3 worked today, and hopefully he sticks with it. Yeah,
certainly was. And you alluded to the little knock there. That was actually to prove to be his last touch of the game because he came off the pitch and was replaced with Michail Antonio. Now, here's the really interesting bit. I don't know what platform you were watching it on, and I don't know if you know this or this is news to you, so I'm going to hit you with it anyway. Apparently, Lucas Perez was all set to come on. Lucas Perez refused to warm up and refused to go on as substitute, which is why Antonio came on. Well, what is your immediate reaction to that, mate?
I watched it on Sky, obviously, and I heard that, and I saw obviously somebody sort of saying something in his ear hole. If that is the case, I am disgusted and I really don't think there's any place at our club for people that won't warm up. You know, if he's fit enough to make the bench, he's fit enough to warm up. And if he's got that kind of attitude problem, I don't want him at West Ham.
Nah, do you know what? Fair play, mate. I don't waste any more breath on the idiot because we've got lots of players to praise today. That's it. Off you go. And do you know what? And Antonio did come on, and you saw him right at the end. You know, he might not be the best technical player, Antonio, but he used his pace and his strength right at the end to run down the clock and run it into the channels. Good for him. We also had Noble came on for Sanchez. Oh, blimey, he made a couple of rickets when he first came on, Sanchez. It took him a little while to get up to the speed of the game, but he finished it very, very well. We then had Yarmolenko, an exhausted Yarmolenko. He's run himself into the ground, was substituted. Snodgrass came on. Getting towards the end of that was in the 81st minute. In the 83rd minute, Czech Tosin had been replaced by another striker, and he almost made a pain in the ass of himself as he hit the bar, but it was okay. They didn't score, and the match finished 3-1 to West Ham. We're very, very happy. We needed that. Have you looked at the table, Mr. B? Did they show that before I sent you the invite to join up?
No, I've got to confess, I sort of like, as soon as the final whistle went, I legged it to my computer. But I'm guessing we must be fourth from bottom, fifth from bottom, something like that now.
Okay, well, I think so. Listen, we've got lots and lots of people in the live chat here. Hello to everybody. The stare. Can somebody in the live chat tell me where we are in the league table just to save me from straying away from Mr. B's attention and of course my notes here. Let's just run through. We're up to 16. Thank you very much, Chris Boyce, in the live chat there. We're up to 16. That's great news. Great news. What a relief. I feel very, very relieved, and my roast dinner will feel a little bit more special tonight. Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Mr. Cracknell there. Right, okay. The team: Fabianski, Zabaleta, Balbuena, Diop, Masuaku. It was three in midfield. As Mr. B alluded to, it was Rice, Obiang, Noble, Yarmolenko, Arnautovic, and Felipe Anderson. I'll tell you what, I've got my notes here. I've written down some on players. Mr. B, why don't you tell me about some players today? Pick one, not even necessarily a man of the match. Pick a player out for me, mate.
Declan Rice.
So tell me. Talk to me.
Declan Rice, I just thought he was superb throughout. His positional play. The first half, you could see he was shadowing Signason. Sorry, I was just trying to think of his name. And wherever he went, he was a couple of yards away from him. He was reading everything where he was going. I don't know, he's just so composed, and hopefully Pellegrini saw that today and has actually thought, yes, that man can actually do a job for us in that position. I think he just anchored the midfield so well. Because he's young, he had that energy. I mean, it was quite obvious to me when you looked at him and you looked at Noble. Noble's still obviously got some guidance, some craft, but his legs just aren't there as they were. He's still got it mentally, but transposing from brain to legs doesn't always work. But Rice has just got an extra yard on him. But I thought Declan Rice throughout, from the start to the final whistle, absolutely superb. Don't say he's my man of the match, because there's a lot of them. Probably the pundits or whoever would have given it to Yarmolenko for his 2 goals. But there were a lot of men of the match out there today for me. Yeah,
it was wonderful, wasn't it? I actually put it down to 4 when I'm sort of doing my notes and thinking I'm going to do the review after. I'm going to speak to Ian. Ian is Mr. B, for those of you who don't know. I'm thinking, it's 4. I put it down to 4. But what was really good about that midfield was, and I agree with everything you said about Declan Rice, but I thought Obiang really stepped up today. There's a clumsiness about Obiang a lot of the time, but today he stepped up and he was involved in everything. He was tackling, he was running, and he was obviously involved in creating 2 of the goals. And you've got to give a lot of respect to that guy there. I was wondering where we were going to get our energy from. It was no surprise that we've struggled in our other games because of midfield, and I was looking at it thinking, what is Pellegrini going to do to get some bite, to get some snap, and to get some energy in the midfield? And actually the answer was Declan Rice and Pedro Obiang, who came in, and I just thought they were absolutely tremendous. I thought Zabaleta was targeted. I thought they were targeting him quite a lot. He did his best. I think he took a really, really good card, by the way, a very good card at one point. Also, just quickly, I want to talk about Arnautovic. there's not a lot to say about him because he played like an Arnautovic today, but he was too much for those centre halves. Mr. B, I would like you, please. I'd like to get your opinion on Yarmolenko, mate.
Well, as I alluded to earlier on, that's what we paid our money for. It's good that he got a start. It also helped the fact of all of them, the fact that he actually went away on international duty and played 2 games for the Ukraine, because that effectively helped us. And no wonder he was a bit knackered come 70 minutes. He's coming off the back of 2 internationals as well. But he's a quality player. You can't deny it. And what I liked more, playing the 4-3-3 role, that him and Arnie have got this kind of partnership, which I don't quite think that Anderson and Arnie have got yet. But there seems to be this kind of a bit of telepathy goes on with them, and every time he got the ball, he was a threat. And again, he worked. His work rate, the second half as well. He could have flagged, but no wonder he was pulled after 80 minutes, because he couldn't have had anything left in the tank. He was superb today. Really, really good.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I've just seen a live chat that there's somebody speaking. I don't know what language it is. We can't understand. I can't read that, but they're obviously speaking amongst each other. But you're very, very welcome. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they are Ukrainian fans and they're in and they're wanting to talk about Yarmolenko. Now, he ran himself into the ground. I thought he looked knackered after 47 minutes. I thought defensively he is shocking. He is absolutely shocking. He provides no protection to Zabaleta at all. But he's got to start the next game. He was definitely one of the best players, and just wonderful quality. So much end product to that guy. It was absolute joy to behold. There's going to be somebody. We're going to talk about lots of players, and once we stop this show, there'll be the comments and in the various websites. There's going to be lots of players discussed. I think Fabianski will go a little bit unheralded, but this has proved to be a very, very good signing. What else have I got down here? Rice. I won't tell you my views on Rice because you've pretty much said him. He was outstanding. I've written down here too, but what I am going to touch on is Felipe Anderson, who you just made a comment about there, Mr. B. I started off at the game. I won't lie. I've written down my notes. I'm frustrating, no confidence. His touches were too light. And I actually wrote down on my notes, he looked like a little boy lost in the Premier League. And I have not been too impressed with Felipe Anderson. But I thought he really grew into that. I thought we actually witnessed a player growing up in a game and really growing into it. And come the second half, I thought he was such a threat on a counter-attack, and there was just so much good coming from him. And he wouldn't threaten my man of the match, Felipe Anderson, because there were people like Obiang, like Arnautovic, like Yarmolenko, who were too productive not to win it. And, of course, Declan Rice, who was just solid as a rock. But I really thought I saw something. Did I say £42 million? I'm not sure, but I saw something there, Mr. B. What was your take on Felipe Anderson?
Identical to yours, and we didn't even have this discussion prior to coming on. First half, he looked like a £4.20 player. He was just, it just wasn't. He just wasn't at it. He was, he was like they say, little boy lost. He was quite light in the tackle. He wasn't really getting stuck in. It was getting kind of lost. And it's like somebody flipped the switch in the second half, and he started proving what he's all about: picking up the ball, running at people, just literally just the silly things of standing there with his foot on the ball, like Arnautovic type arrogance, waiting for somebody to come in and just knock it off of the outside of his foot, cutting inside. I mean, it was right towards the end. It was a shame because he went on a lovely run, and I thought, he's going to get like a player 1-2 and be in there, and Antonio just like tried to turn and fell over and did a normal Antonio type thing. But again, he really, really grew into it. But for 42 million quid, we need that from minute number 1, not minute number 45 or 46.
Yeah, don't just. But I thought there was promise there today, and I was pleased. I'm pleased with so many of the players today. That the ones that I thought could be tweaked. I don't want to go into too much. Also, obviously this is a West Ham show. We are here to talk about West Ham. Look, it's West Ham, Bobby boys, West Ham, West Ham, right? But a little word on Everton. I thought actually in defence they looked more nervous than we actually tend to. I thought he got he got a lot wrong today. I think they are a striker short, and I think we played them at a good time. We got an atrocious record at Goodison Park, of course. And if anybody that wasn't at the game, I'm so pleased for everybody that was at the game. I'm delighted. Anybody driving home and watching this now, I'm chuffed for you. I know it's a long old journey. I am chuffed. Stop at those service stations, get yourself something to eat, and you've got a really, really nice memory to sustain you in the journey home. For us watching on telly, they were building. They might as well have had that music. You know, that music, Mr. Big, go dun 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 dun. It was like funeral music. It was foreboding. They had David Moyes in there saying everything that was wrong with West Ham. Everybody was pretty much predicting an Everton win today. And for us to go up there and do that, we did play them at a good time. I was frightened when Walcott started, and in hindsight, I was worried when Bernard came on. He's a diving little shit he is, by the way. But having said that, Anderson had a few dives himself, let's be perfectly frank, at the start. And I do think he needs to toughen up a bit, but I saw that toughening up coming towards the end. But our centre-back partnership at its second game in a row, Mr. B, your thoughts on Balbuena and Diop, please?
Again, I mean, I've always, since the start of the season, I've probably been one of the people that has really liked Balbuena. I think there's a lot about him. I say you could point a finger towards him for the goal, but other than that, he made a few very, very timed interceptions, and you can see already now that partnership is starting to grow, and the understanding, the dialogue going on between them. Diop really looks a player as well. I mean, he's a big old unit, and they looked a lot stronger. They didn't look as though we were going to get attacked through the centre. As I say, the damage was going to be done down the flanks, and a lot of that is down to having a good centre half pairing. And they're starting to look good, and they're only going to get better. And one other thing, very quickly on Bernard, I do want to say, because we might not get a chance to get this in. When Snodgrass come on, that tackle he put in on Bernard towards the end was superb, and he got a yellow card for it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was. And I mean, to be fair, I thought when Snodgrass got his yellow card, when he tackled Bernard, right, I thought it was a good tackle. Look, a good tackle to me. Got the ball, took a bit of man, but he was falling over all over the place. It was ridiculous. And but he looks sharp, and I think he will do something in the Premier League for Everton. But hey, that's not our concern. We were good today, and that gives us hope for the games coming up. And I just thought there was a little switch. I don't think this was the football that was promised by Manuel Pellegrini, but we'd sort of gone counter-attacking. We turned into a counter-attacking team. And for me, that's fine. I got no problem with us being counter-attacking. If we have to play with almost 3 stoppers in central midfield to stop a team getting at us and to dominate midfield, and then allow Anderson, Arnie and Yarmolenko to score our goals for us, I don't have a problem with that at all. Clearly, something needs to be done wide, because I thought Anderson actually did try and get back and try and support and cover Masuaku. Yarmolenko, we've discussed, but something needs to be done in wide. And it looks like in the live chat, they all sort of agree. There's people are a little concerned with the fullbacks in the live chat at the moment. So I just, there's stuff to take from it. In terms of the 2 centre-backs, Mr. B, I think they complement each other. We're not going to go from being like a colander at the back to being resolute and tough. We're going to have to build on this, but I do think that they do complement each other. I think his Diop is full of power and pace, and he's strong. And I know he's young, he's 19, 20, but he's a grown man. He's only going to get better and better and better. And Balbuena's not like some old geezer. Balbuena's 26 or something like that. He reads the game really well. You've seen a lot more interceptions from him. Got one of them doing the interceptions, the other one doing the blocks. They need to work out on their positioning, because we did get, teams were able to get us, Everton were able to get us, particularly with headers, particularly from wide areas today. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some tinkering goes on. Because he made 6 changes today, Pellegrini, on his birthday. He can't keep making 6 changes, but at work today, I was very, very, very pleased. This is a good day. We deserve this. Mr. B, I'm going to pressure, because we have to, and it's the and it'd be fine. I just want to see what you come up with. Can I have your man of the match, please?
You can't really go beyond Yarmolenko, I don't think. It's difficult because there are probably 4 or 5 people that could easily have got it, but I think for his work rate, I know you say, okay, he doesn't maybe cover the fullback or Zabaleta as much as he could do. It's not really his game. It's something working or playing and working in the Premier League. That's something he's got to develop. But he was there as an out ball for him. He held the ball up. He was dangerous every time he got it. 2 really, really well taken goals. He would get my man of the match today.
Well, I couldn't argue. I had it 1 of 4. I had it Rice, Obiang, Yarmolenko, or Arnautovic, and you could pick any one of those you like. I'm going to pick one because I don't want to sit on the fence, and I'm actually going to go with Obiang, who I just thought raised his game today beyond what I expected him to come away with an assist. And the one for the first goal was as good as an assist. They'll call that a key pass in modern terms. Obviously, Arnie squared it to Yarmolenko and did really, really well there. But he was heavily involved in 2 of those goals. I thought he ran. I thought he gave the midfield an energy that was needed. And I thought he tackled. And I thought he was absolutely everywhere. And when it didn't work out for him, he still ran and got back and tried to do really, really just anything he could to disrupt their attacks as well. But as I said, big mention for Declan Rice. Yarmolenko, great to finally see him start. And Arnautovic, let's just hope it was a minor thing. But what I really liked about Arnautovic when he went off with the knock was him. He didn't go off with his head ducked. He was giving instruction to Antonio, still very, very much invested in the team and wanting the team to win, even though he was off the pitch. In stark contrast to somebody I said we weren't going to discuss anymore, but bearing in mind somebody's popped up in the live chat. I can't read it. It goes so fast, that live chat. I can't read everything, but somebody has just asked, are we not going to discuss Lucas Perez? We already have discussed Lucas Perez. I wanted to keep it very, very short on him. But you had the two polarizing examples there, if you like, of somebody who'd gone off the pitch and still wanted to be a part of the team, still thought he could influence it by giving Antonio some positive comments, as opposed to somebody who, whatever, was having a strop, having a moody one, was sat there shaking his head, refusing to warm up, refusing to play. Well, you know what? If you don't want to play for West Ham United, you can do one, quite frankly. Hopefully, get him out on loan. They probably won't be able to sell him or whatever. It's a 4 million gamble. It hasn't worked out. Do one, because I see what, there are people that want to play for West Ham United, and today the big difference is we ran, we had endeavour, and because of that endeavour, because of that solidity, because of people like Rice and people like Obiang, we were good. Now we're not going to come up against a defence as poor as Everton's every single week, but we needed to get those wins on the board, and now we can look at other players that are in the other teams, should I say, that are in and around the relegation places, let's say, and breathe a little sigh of relief. And maybe the pressure is now on Cardiff or Newcastle or some other teams. I can see there Steve Hammershock said Perez didn't refuse. Listen, that I'm only going on the information that we have got, which was Sky Television telling us that he had refused to play. So if something else comes out, then we'll amend our statements accordingly. Mr. B, thank you very much for joining us, my friend. Have you had your roast dinner?
No, yeah. Roast dinner should be a bit later on this evening.
Good man, good man. I can smell mine now, so I'm going to get off for it. We've got other videos. Mike has gone to the game today. Mike will be uploading a video now on this second channel, so please obviously do remember that we have 2 Hammers Chat channels, this one and a Hammers Chat forum channel. We'll have videos going up on there throughout. We're running a little news feature on there. Ian Wilkins, sorry Ian mate, has said the Lucas story is false, so clearly more news has broken whilst you and I have been chatting, Mr. B. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Thank you for everybody in the live chat. It's been wonderful in the live chat today. We haven't even got any moderators, and we don't need any. Everyone's so well behaved and so pleasant, and obviously everybody is happy. You've been called, Mr. B, a silver fox, may I say, by somebody in the live chat, which I know absolutely very, very pleased about. As I say, please subscribe to both channels. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please do. A little bit better, isn't it? And we will catch up with you. We've got loads of videos. We'll catch up with you in the week. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. And thanks for sticking with Hammers Chat.